Okay. Hello everyone and good afternoon. Welcome to Mojo for Industry presents Development Debate on Manufacturing Safety, Protecting Workers and Boosting Productivity. Technology partner for the session is Smersal India and knowledge partner is Mesa Cutting Systems India. In manufacturing, there are several common hazards that workers may face. Some of them include mechanical hazards that are related to the use of machinery and equipment, chemical hazards related to the exposure to various hazardous chemicals, electrical hazards due to faulty electrical systems, ergonomic hazards that are related to the design and setup of workstations, tools, and equipment, then failing from heights, and fire and explosions involving flammable materials, prolonged exposure to high noise of levels due to the machinery functioning, then thermal hazards involving working with extreme temperatures, welding such as hot metals, ovens, or furnaces, and also lifting and moving heavy objects without proper techniques or equipment. Therefore, it is important for manufacturing companies to implement comprehensive safety programs, provide appropriate training to workers, and regularly assess and mitigate these hazards to ensure a safe working environment. Today in this episode of Mojo for Industry Development Debate on Manufacturing Safety, Protecting Workers and Boosting Productivity, technology partner Smersal India and knowledge partner Mesa Cutting Systems India, industry experts will share their opinion on the best practices to make a safe manufacturing ecosystem. They will also present some of the advanced technologies to enhance safety in manufacturing. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, let me introduce you with our panelists for the day. Today, we are pleased to join by Mr. Muthu Sekar, Chief Operating Officer, Hailstone Innovation, joining us from Cuttack. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Roy.
Then we have Mr. Sanjay Singh, who is the Associate Director, Engineering at CD Asia Limited. He is joining us from Kolkata. Welcome, Mr. Sanjay Singh, sir. Then we're joined by Mr. Arun Jain, who is the business head for Akshifil business at Mesa Cutting Systems India. He is joining from Delhi. And Mr. Ranjit Kumar, who is the Deputy General Manager, Smersal India. He is joining us from Pune. Welcome, Mr. Ranjit.
Thank you.
Right. So once the individual presentations of our panelists are over, we will have a panel discussion followed by a Q&A session. So delegates, if you have any question for our panelists, please submit it in the Q&A box in your Zoom control panel. We will address them at the end of the session. I would request panelists to keep their presentations to be to the allotted time of 15 minutes for the individual presentations. So now to take the session forward, I will invite Mr. Muthu Sekar, Chief Operating Officer at Hailstone Innovations. He will talk on the role of safe manufacturing practices in boosting productivity. But before he starts, let me congratulate Mr. Muthu Sekar on behalf of Team Mojo for Industry and our viewers for celebrating his first anniversary at Hailstone.
Thank you.
Congrats, sir. And we expect the homegrown company to reach greater heights under his leadership. So welcome, Mr. Muthu Sekar.
Thank you. Thank you, Mojo for Industry, and thank you, Roy. Nice to be with Sanjay, who is our, business friend, I would say. And, nice to be with Ranjit and Arun. And the interesting topic, probably I have been called for the third or fourth time on safety. Though I am not basically a safety expert, but happy to share my thoughts in terms of how the safety can help in terms of boosting the productivity. To start with, I just want to say safety, quality, productivity. Inextricably, it is all together. You cannot separate safety, you cannot separate quality, you cannot separate productivity. These all three are together, and you cannot sacrifice one for the other. Probably, I think this is the fundamental pillar of an organization. Whether any type of industry, whether we talk a construction industry, whether we talk a manufacturing industry, any type of industry, these three things are very fundamental pillars. Again, I repeat, safety, quality, and productivity. Why these three are linked? That's what we are going to discuss at this moment. The reason being is if the working environment is safe, and safe practices are being followed in an organization, the employee feels that he is in a safe environment. His family feels that he is going to a workplace where there is a lot of protections available and safety available. This gives an immense peace of mind. So once there is a peace of mind available and the satisfaction for the employee well-being, family, and the organization, obviously the employee churning out will come down, because this is one of the biggest challenge in today's world. The employee churning out, the attrition rate is very high. Why it is very high? One of the reason is they found that the workplace is not safer workplace, or the safety practices are not being maintained in the industry. So this is one of the reasons. So when we reduce the attrition rate, and if the employee stays for longer, especially a skilled employee, a trained employee, if he stays for longer, obviously the productivity is going to improve. So this is all three are together: safety, quality, and productivity. So this is my thoughts to start the discussions. And of course, when it comes to some survey, I just want to give some inputs. U.S. Consumer Product Service Commission, they call it a CPSC, study reveals that there are about 240 injuries per day in US alone during the November and December. It's a holiday time. In spite of being a holiday time, not being at work, there are a lot of injuries. I'll tell you what kind of injuries. It will be very interesting for you to know. Falling from ladders while putting off some lights, or some firework failures, or slicing meat. This is another interesting thing. When you slice meat or a turkey, or while cooking, they get injuries. So why I want to mention this is that it's not the manufacturing place alone is the reason for the safety. Even at home, even at holiday, that's the reason I brought out this statistics, which is available in the data. So this shows that the safety has to be everywhere. It's not just only in the factory or on the road. This safety is important parameter for a person. And safety, why it's not happening? The biggest enemy for safety is the carelessness. When the carelessness creeps in, that's where the safety loses its culture. An employee and the company needs a safety culture which needs to be taught right from the beginning. So this is what I want to sum up in my opening speech, and I will look forward to the discussions, and later let us get into the topic of how we can improve the safety in the factory and manufacturing area. Thank you, Roy.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us about the requirement of safety in every aspects of our life. I was just going through some of the stats, like you mentioned about the US stats. There is a report published in the month of January this year. India reported 1,109 deaths and more than 4,000 injuries in registered factories. On an average, each year between 2017 and 2020. That means it says that around 3 workers die every day in Indian factories. So that's really, really surprising and shocking as well. So thank you so much, Mr. Muthusekhar, for setting up the tone of the session and explaining the role of safety in manufacturing practices and how it helps in boosting productivity. So delegates, if you have any question for Mr. Muthusekhar, he will be there. Please submit it in the Q&A box in your Zoom control panel. So ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is Mr. Sanjay Singh, who is the Associate Director for Engineering at CDACL Limited. He will talk about incorporating safety into the design of manufacturing processes and equipment. Over to Mr. Sanjay.
Thank you, Subhajit. And good afternoon, Mr. Arun, Mr. Ranjit, and Mr. Muthusekhar. And I wish the belated best wishes on the just concluded our International Yoga Day. That was yesterday's indication that almost 180 countries are following our old scripture of Patanjali, and that is for the safety of our own body. Safety, unless we are safe, nothing is important in this world. I remember one shloka from our scriptures that says, Sharir Madhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. Just to protect your human body is your most important duty of life. Because through this body only you can do whatever good or bad you want to do. But for that, a healthy body supported by the healthy mind is very, very, very requirement. Safety, of course, to my remembrance or knowledge or my limited knowledge, probably in the 1,000 or 5,000, 10,000 years ago, I do not believe there was the organized factory type of operation going on this earth. So where was the location where people united to perform and giving some work output? So to me, it is a battleground. Just remember, we have not seen the Mahabharata on Ramayana, but you see how these soldiers are going. Always they are going prepared. That is what we have seen in the TV serials and movies. They are all guarded by their shields and kavach and kundal and all those things. So likewise, once you are getting united to deliver something in a very mass scale and very large scale and difficult propositions, then we have to have the safety gears in hand, and that becomes very, very important for us to save your life. Unless we save ourselves, you will not be protecting the others. There is always a question that safety is time consuming, safety is very, very expensive. Why not to take shortcuts? But once you analyze any incidents you analyze, safety, of course, is the cheapest options available to us. We are not counting the costs involved once any accident happens. Apart from a direct time loss of the individual employee, then he is going for the medical treatment that costs a lot. Then so many people are going to attend to him that again there is the attendance problem. And then there may be some industrial unrest, low satisfaction, and some miscreant will raise the issue and there will be production losses. So safety, if you count in all the corners, it will be very, very the cheapest option available for all of us. Now, how to ensure the safety? Safety, to me, it is a habit forming. Some of the people are habitually very, very safety conscious. And likewise, some people are habitually very, very unsafe. So we have to earmark how to deal with them. To my as a management, because I am, as Mr. Muthu was telling, he is not the safety expert, so as me. But during the long tenures of the 40 years in this industry, I have seen safety is such an aspect that you have to preach, advise on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, regular basis. It is something like what I tell to my managers on the shop floor. It's just like you are dealing with your child. One is speaking that reading is or studying is very good habit. Late night sleeping is not advisable. That doesn't help. Every day you have to remind them. Every morning, every afternoon, every evening, you have to go on reminding them, this is what to be done, these are the do's and these are the don'ts. Likewise, so the people who are very, very safety conscious, so they should be encouraged to come in front and take the other people's in Indian conversations, even during the lunchtime, lunch breaks, tea time, etc., etc. How difficult the life will be if somebody meets any accident. I remember one incident, when I was working in Rajasthan in public sector. So that time we were in the shop floor engineers, and even people are not ready to even wear this simple helmets. It's a hot place and so much temperature is high. Why people are telling you to wear a helmet? And this safety manager was there. He was hell bent to ensure 100% wearing of the helmet by all the employees. So he started wearing himself. Even if he is sitting in the office, he will be with the helmets. And first he took care of officers, frontline officers, mainly like us. And then he ran after going to the workers' canteen in their traveling with the bus in their buses, and only telling them ki, what if something goes wrong, what this will cause to him and his family, his office creams, his children. And lastly, the first last step, what I could see in that case, in the few of the worst cases, the people we are not listening, and being public sector, directly you cannot take any drastic action. No salary cuts, no penal provision can be put to them because they are highly unionized. So he has started going to their official quarters, interacting with their wife or children. Your dad is working like this, he is working in a very unsafe position, and his actions are very, very unsafe, and somehow, something may go wrong, and then you will all be suffering. And then his daughters and children and wife, they started Kaidoli, no, Papa, you have to be here. So these are the ways and means we have to take care on a personal basis, so that because these are the mostly uneducated, unprivileged class of people. They do not understand. They do not want to see very larger picture of the life. Just they start from 10,000 and somehow they retire into they start where they end. So they do not want to see very larger picture. Someone has to remind them on a time to time on a very frequent basis that safety is important. This becomes the primary duty of the managerial staff to let them realize what will be the cost when something goes wrong. And as again the scriptures I remember, somewhere it has been said this parahit saras dharam nahi bhai, helping others, nothing better is than that. So this is our moral responsibility to let them understand the meaning of safety, benefit of safety, and if it is not followed, then they will be landing, not only he or she, but the entire family comes under a dark shade of life. As a management, what we actually do, okay, we enforce, we encourage, and we want to have a habit forming situation, and we go out of the way in training them that production is less important, but safety is more important. Production can be captured sometime later, tomorrow, day after, next week, or next month. But one safe moment, when some leg is amputated or even a finger is amputated, this is not going to come back again. There is no SPR available. And then as a management, we do not keep any cap on the safety budget. So whatever is required, anything has gone wrong or something has not given life, even then we replace them without any much of the audit. We will be realizing what went wrong, who was responsible, but not a proper upkeep, etc., etc. But first thing we take the step that it has to be replenished first. And while we as a CDE, we are basically into the field of the project supply on something like EPC basis. So while designing, we do take care that our equipments and processes are fail-proof. And as a small step, wherever there are chances of paintings going one off, or that is going to be subjected to the high attrition or and some failure we expect, we provide in place of the paintings, we provide the galvanizing. So it costs a lot, but we go wherever the failure chances are there, we provide the fully galvanized nut bolts, staircases, handrail, etc., etc. We design the process also in such a way that no one should be approaching any part of the machinery unguarded. That is the inbuilt system within our machine. So these are the things. So at the last, in conclusion, what I can always tell that we have to respect the human life for ourselves as well as for the others. This is very, very important. And today we are thinking about safety of not only ourselves, safety of the earth, safety of the universe, safety of the society, all these things coming together. So we have to struggle on a day-to-day basis how safe we are and how safe we can make our people, so that our business also is safe, sound, and profitable. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sanjay Singh, for explaining about the importance of incorporating safety into the design of manufacturing processes and equipment. and also making your talk interesting by giving examples of, from the ancient age, how we are following the safety, whether it's Mahabharata, Ramayana, and why safety is the best policy rather than being aggressive, showing your aggressiveness. Thank you so much, sir. So, delegates, if you have any question for Mr. Sanjay Singh, please submit it in the Q&A box in your Zoom control panel. Now we will invite Mr. Ranjit Kumar, who is the Deputy General Manager at Simarsal India, sharing his presentation on using technology to enhance man and machine safety. Welcome, Mr. Ranjit. Yes, your screen is visible. Yeah, you can put it in.
So, good afternoon all. So, thanks, Mr. Roy, for this wonderful opportunity. And it's, I can say it's very good to share my time with others. So, let us jump into the session. So, welcome once again. So, today we are going to see how technology is going to play a wider role in enhancing the safety of man and machine. So, what is work safety? So, it is not only the safety procedures, it is not only the technology, it is not only the concepts which you are going to develop, it is not only the IoT. Generally, people speaks about the concept IoTs and all, and it is not only about how to improve the productivity of the machine. It is all about working together. If you see in a nutshell, safety risk assessment play a major role in enhancing the safety of the machine. And Government of India also taking a major steps in enhancing the safety with the help of BIS. So if you see, everything plays a major role in work safety. So we cannot write off safety at any stage, at any level. Yes. So who we are? What's our goal? Our goal is working together with our customers and partners to providing them a workspace which is more safer. If you see, what is a challenge which many of the people facing right now in industry is they are having a legacy machines, or they may be having a old machines. They have a very concern, like in order to upgrade from level 1 to 2 or level from their existing to a different level, what to be done, who to approach, how to make our machine safe. So today the PPT and the session we are going to cover what are the things majorly people need to take care to enhance or develop the safety into their working environment. Yes. If you see in terms of safety, what are the things majorly customer need to do? They should be having a team who are knowledgeable to what to be done, and they should have a proper expertise, or they should tie up with a proper consulting team to what to do for their machine. They should upgrade the machine from a level 1 to level 2, or from an existing level to a different level, what to be done. For example, proper engineering practices. Okay, then implementation of the higher safety components, implementation of a different safety levels, and implement linking of a multiple products in IoT kind of stuffs. How to make a machine guarding. So if you see from outside, machine is a machine, but for a worker who is working in the machine is everything for him. So if you need to work in a machine or an environment in a trouble-free or a hazard-free, accident-free, there are a lot of things to be done. We will show this particular video will show what at Technicum can help to customers and what is the knowledge which we are providing to our customers.
Our engineers perform a safety inspection. partner in industrial safety solutions.
For every machine, there are different stages of the life. What are those stages and what to be known to the people? If you see, every machine will be having a stage of assessment where the safety, hazard and related things are taken care, and design of the functional safety requirement, and design of a proper mechanical things along with the verification of the electrical components and circuits, and proper installation of those and proper validation of the things. After, generally people think once my machine is installed properly, it is done. No, you should have you should maintain a document with a proper operating manuals and when the maintenance and related things are going to happen. So in safety, it is a cycle. It is not an end. You need to follow the entire cycle to adhere to the proper safety levels of the machine. So generally what people think, okay, whenever we are working in a machine, it is only the electrical hazard. No, whichever hurting humans, whichever hurting our health, whichever hurting our mental peace are considered hazards. What are those hazards? For an example, high temperature is an hazard. Materials or substances which is kept in the factory as a wastage, that is also considered as an hazard. High noise is an hazard. So you cannot consider hazard as a one or two. It can be a multiple. It may be, sometimes it may be a one, sometimes it may be a multiple of numbers. So whichever are hurting the human's health, mental peace, everything are considered as a hazard. We should know how to mitigate those hazards. So combination of a hazard is, I can say, a big hazard, which is nowadays, yeah, combination of a hazard, which is, I can say, one of the dangerous and more nowadays. No, people are facing this and people are trying to eliminate the possible hazard from their working environment. How it has to be? Generally, right now, if you see in an industry, they will be having old legacy machines. How to upgrade it? There is a process. You need to identify the risk involved in the machine. You need to mitigate the risk involved in the machine. You need to reduce the risk. After that, you need to document it properly. You need to give a proper training to the team, because if you are working in a machine, in an old legacy machine, you will be adapted to work in an older machine. Once the safety reduction measures are done, you should be given a proper training to work in a new system. So giving a training to the team is also going to enhance the safety of the machine. So if you see all together, from consulting and up to training, it is considered as an optimization circle or optimization process. Everyone has to do this in their old legacy machines to upgrade the safety. And what is risk assessment? It is nothing but analyzing and evaluation of the risk associated with the machine. If you say risk assessment is a process which starts with find out the limits or identifying the limit of our machine, and identification of the hazards and risk involved in the machine, and estimation of the risk of the machine, what kind of risk the machine is holding. Once it is identified, you need to evaluate it. Once the evaluation is done, you need to mitigate it further. So if you see the entire process from determination of a limit up to the stage where you are going to identify whether your risk is going to get reduced or no, this entire sequence is known as a risk reduction or risk analysis process. Generally, reduction of the risk can be done in three ways. Either it is direct, indirect signage. What is direct? It is a fair policy or it's a fair environment if you are able to design a machine in a mechanical stage itself with a reduction of the risk. What is indirect? Because if you see, in every machine, you cannot reduce the risk at a design stage. There are many machines, if you see, once the machine is evolved, there will be a lot of hazards. How to reduce that? By putting a guards or protecting the hazards. That is called indirect methodology. In some case, you cannot prevent the hazards. In some case, you can prevent it. In many cases, you can prevent the hazard, but still people expect some kind of a warning signage. That is called a signage. So these three methods are, I can say, traditional method of avoiding the risk or reduction or reducing the risk. Evaluation. What is risk evaluation? Once you identify the risk level of the machine, you should name or you should number the risk. For example, your team should know, or your expertise or your consultant or your team member or your key player who operates the machine should know what are the criticality of my machine, whether I'm working in a environment, the risk are low, whether I'm working with the environment or a machine which is having an unexpectable risk. If he knows he's working in an unexpectable risk oriented machine, then what is his mindset? So evaluation of the risk plays a major role in boosting the productivity, and I can say it is also helping the people to work in a machine with the proper monitoring and proper guidance. If you say once you or your team is having a risky machine, or you have all the machines are assessed and you find out that majority of your machines are having a high risk, what to be done? You should identify, or you should build your control system in such a way to avoid all those risks or avoid all those hazards. Yes. Nowadays, if you see, people are moving more towards smart factory or industry 4.0, IIoT, IoT, so many things. What is the role of a safety in those things? As Mr. Muthu said, you cannot write off safety, or safety is a role, or it is going to play a role along with productivity, quality, etc., etc. If you see, what is the role of safety in modern day industry? It is going to increase the efficiency. How? It is going to protect the man and human while taking the efficiency as a counter. So by doing this, what are the opportunity available in the market? Like, machines can communicate with each other digitally. Due to that, control and integration of development, production, and quality delivery process are modified or structured more. So this is going to give a better benefit to customer. If you see preventive maintenance, how safety is going to play a major role in maintenance. Nowadays, if you go and check with any of the end users who is working with the old legacy machines, what is a major concern to them? They are not aware when their machine is going to fail, when they are going to face an accident due to some older component failure. So there, the preventive maintenance and productive maintenance documentation or factors are going to major role. If you see in safety 4.0, the linking of safety in industry 4.0 is known as safety 4.0. In that, you will be having an intelligent component or sensor, which is going to provide a proper information to the user about when the things are going to get fail or what's the life cycle of your component. Due to this, we are enhancing the work environment and helping the people to increasing the productivity. One more thing, if you see in an older machine, that tracing out the cables or wires are a major task. So always it is advisable to have a modular safety control system where you have a proper wiring and proper documentation of a data. Yes. So what are the potential development and key challenges which industry is right now facing due to this? The potential available in the market is, we need to work together with our customers and external research agencies to raise the potential, to give a proper awareness to the team or customer, whoever. And key challenge is, we need to develop a confidence on an industry and user. By doing all those things, they are going to have a better working environment. That is a key challenge right now every industry is facing. I can say that is again a challenge for us also, how we are going to create awareness to industry and environment. Yes. So if you see, this is how the industry 4.0 evolved the market. Since 1784, I can say there is a huge difference when you see the technology or the substantial things people are speaking right now in terms of industry 4.0. By the way, the things are getting improved day by day. I feel it is going to double in coming years. So this slide gives you a classic example what to be done. If you see in industry 4.0 or enhancement of a safety, connecting the field level devices to a proper controller and a telecasting or establishing of the data to an external environment. This is a major role. I can say this is a crux which is going to create an interest level for all. I can say not only interest level, but also it is going to create a challenge to all the people who are involved in safety 4.0. Yes. Now, right now, if you see assessing the risk or engineering planning or installation, it is always there in the market. And how safety is going to play a major role in adapting it to 4.0. the SAFE 4.0, which is going to give a condition monitoring, maintenance data, preventive data, and risk monitoring data for their customers. How it is going to give? Once safety is integrated with Industry 4.0, customers are able to see what is their hazard available in the machine. Once the hazard is identified and implementation process are done, they will be able to see post-hazard measurement, what is the level of the hazard they are facing. So this is, I can say, this is going to save a lot of time, and it is going to add a lot of value addition to the customer and consultants. If you see, it is also going to give a condition monitoring. For example, the machine is running. The engineer may be somewhere outside. He want to know, or he want to see what is happening to the machine. So right now, what available in the market is productivity and quality data. So integrating of the safety into this dashboard is going to create a lot of value. And customers will be happy to know what is happening to their safety components which is involved in the machine. Safety component may be a small, how it is going to affect the cycle of the machine, that also to be known to the customers. And the preventive maintenance, productive maintenance. So in Safety 4.0, the dashboard is going to give you an idea what is the lifetime of your machine, or what is the lifetime of the components which is implemented in the machine. So by the way, in this way, customers also getting benefited, and by ongoing crisis in the SMT chip and electronic environment, people will plan their activities prior to arrange the materials or components. And Industry 4.0 along with the safety, it will be always beneficiary to the customer. Customers are able to see what is happening to the component level of my product. In SAFE 4.0, we are also going to provide the same thing. So by this way, upgrading from the existing level to the safety environment, customers are going to see what are the technology they are going to implement, what is the assessment data, what is the risk factor available in the machine, what are the critical documentation of the component which has to be taken care. All those data are shown. So in Industry 4.0, it is not only safety. Nowadays, the industry facing a lot of challenges in energy monitoring system. So energy monitor may be a small thing, but it is a vast topic to speak. So right now, what are the potential losses people are facing? So due to lot of wastages, due to lack of visibility, lot of penalties due to lack of warnings, and loss of brand due to the regulatory focus. How we are going to mitigate this? How we are going to minimize this? What is the process? What is the process and procedure? You need to measure, analyze, quantify, reduce, and verify. So this is a proven technology or proven concept. You need to monitor the energy level. So this is a classic example of how the energy meters are monitored and taken in the control of IoT, and how the data are transmitted to a different level. Yes, not only different technical agencies, but also nowadays government is taking an initiative in enhancing the safety for the people. So now, right now, if you see Bureau of Indian Standards, they have adopted 50 ISO standards. So they are, by the way, they are adopting many more standards in future. They are focusing on expediting process and how to implement this soon in our industry. So once it's implemented, then enhancement of the safety, and the people who work on safety also get motivated. The customers who is relying on the safety will get more faith, and everyone need to get it updated. For example, these are some standards which BIS has already adapted and which is already in the market. Many of the people are going behind this and updating their safety norms and compliances. If you see, so this is a classic example of how a IoT or Industry 4.0 smart factory has to be. You see, the major thing is you need to communicate the field level devices to a controller. And once it is done, if I say connection of a field level devices, it is not only automation component. You cannot write off safety from Industry 4.0. You need to have a space to accommodate the safety component or solution into it. And you should know how to transfer the data externally and internally to store it on the cloud to have a different information based. By this way, if you see, you are going to have a productivity data, quality data, maintenance data, safety data, and of course, whatnot. By adapting to the different technology and concept which is available in the market, Down the line, if you see another 5 to 10 years gap, people are going to upgrade their existing systems, safer environment from a current level to a different level. When we speak about safety before 10 years, no one expected safety will grow like this. But if you see, by the way, in last 10 years, lot of technologies get adapted and more invention happen in safety concept and technology. By implementing the same for another 5-10 years, we cannot imagine the level of safety people would have adapted after 5-10 years. So this is the way the things and technology are playing a major role in boosting the safety, in increasing the safety, boosting the productivity, enhancing the quality as well to the customers. So that's all from my side. Thank you for listening.
So thank you, Mr. Ranjit, for sharing your inputs on using technology to enhance man and machine safety, especially talking about the futuristic manufacturing practices, what we are going to see tomorrow, like Industry 4.0. So delegates, if you have any question for Mr. Ranjit, please submit it in the Q&A box in your Zoom control panel. I could see quite a few hand raised. So my request is to all the delegates to just type your question in the Q&A box. We will definitely come back to you. And now I'll invite Mr. Arun Jain, who is the business head for Axifuel business at Messer Cutting Systems India, to share his presentation on advanced safety in Axifuel cutting. Axifuel cutting is one of the very core areas in the welding segment and cutting. So, Mr. Arun, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Roy, and my word of welcome to all the delegates, all the speakers. I'm just going to share my screen with you, and I'll be presenting through a PowerPoint.
Yes.
I hope my screen is visible.
Yes. You can go ahead.
Thank you. So the topic for today discussion is safety in Axifuel cutting, welding, and allied processes. Just proceeding before proceeding, let me share with you about the company. Messer Cutting, actually it was formed in 1898, and this year we are celebrating our 125 years. And oxyacetylene torch, which we commonly know as a gas cutting torch or a gas cutter, was invented by Messer in 1903. And from there, the things are in front of all of you. And today we are one of the manufacturers, or I'll say the leading manufacturers of thermal cutting equipments. This is our global presence. We have 5 manufacturing units globally, more than 100 patents. And on the right bottom, you can see our India manufacturing unit, which is in Coimbatore. Our offerings mainly include the thermal cutting machines, which are CNC laser machines, CNC gas cutting, and CNC plasma. Hand cutting plasma machines. We also put up the complete training centers for cutting and welding. We offer trainings in gas equipment safety, and we also do the assessment on gas equipment safety. Besides, we are the leading manufacturer of all the gas equipment and gas control systems, steel mill equipments, which are mainly used in our steel plants across the globe. Coming to the topic of today, that is safety in cutting, welding, and allied processes. So through this pictorial representation, we are trying to explain that the lack of knowledge can be extremely dangerous and detrimental. So it is very important that we should be taking care of the right knowledge. As well, the safety should not be considered as an expense. In fact, they should be considered as an investment for a better tomorrow. Some of the clippings from across the industry where the accidents have happened due to one or the other hazard. You can see on the left side, there is a regulator which got burst in the middle. The cylinder from where the regulator got burst, and it went into the air. And on the right side, you can see the exploded hoses, gas hoses, due to the flashbacks. Some more pictures from the industry. These are all the results of unsafe practices. So in nutshell, we can say that if it bangs, it is too late. So better to know about the safety and the safety practices to avoid all these things. The moment we talk of gas cutting or oxy-fuel process, the first gas comes into mind is oxygen. Oxygen, we all know, is a colorless, odorless gas, but it supports combustion. So the gas has to be handled very, very carefully because it supports combustion. Plus, inside cylinder, it is stored at a very high pressure of up to 300 bar, depending on the type of cylinder and the supply. The second most commonly used gas in industry is acetylene, which is also commonly known as DA, dissolved acetylene. The gas on one side is lighter than air. So from safety perspective, we can say that it escapes to the atmosphere. But on the other hand, it is little unsafe also because the gas in nature is unstable and the bond of carbon to carbon bond can break in certain conditions, that is beyond 2 bar pressure if there is just a shock. The third most commonly used gas in industry for oxy-fuel operations is LPG. So LPG is a safe gas in terms of stability, but it is heavier than air. So from that perspective, we have to be very careful while storing or handling LPG, that there should be sufficient ventilation so that in the event of LPG coming out, there should be no chances of LPG cloud formation along the ground. Oxy-fuel processes, the common processes are gas cutting, gas brazing, heating, flame cleaning, flame gouging, etc. Little bit on theoretical side of the cutting process, how the oxy-fuel cutting process takes place. I'll not go much into detail, but here the most important thing is oxidation. The cutting happens mainly due to the oxidation. So the presence of oxygen is must for conducting oxy-fuel cutting. This is the thermal balance of the gas cutting. The flame that we see, the oxy-fuel flame, contributes to just 25% of the heat for cutting. Balance 75% of the heat actually comes from the oxidation process. I'm sorry. We can have more detailed discussion maybe at some other time when we have longer time. Today, due to the small slot available, I'm going a bit faster on the things. So a look at the oxy-fuel cutting set. This is a typical cutting set you can see, comprising of 2 gas cylinders, regulators, flashback arresters, hose pipes, and a cutting torch or a gas brazing, gas heating torch. When we talk of a conventional 2-pipe cutting torch, you can see the torch. The sectional view tells you about the working of the torch. The oxy-fuel mixture gets generated just after the handle, and in the event of a flashback, you can see through the pictures that there is always a risk of explosion in the lower pipe of the cutting torch in the 2-pipe cutting torch system. So to ensure better safety, this is a better technology which is called a 3-pipe cutting torch or a nozzle mixing technology. In this torch, the oxy-fuel mixture takes place in the nozzle, and in the event of a flashback, the maximum risk is inside the nozzle, which doesn't burst. At the most, the nozzle can melt, which you can see in the picture. So this is a much advanced and a safer version of a gas cutting torch. Common terminologies we all come across in our workplaces are backfire and flashbacks. Many times we see the welder saying servo torch back maar gaya. What actually happens there is the flame actually goes inside the nozzle for a moment and gets extinguished there with a small sound like patak, or maybe a continuous 2-3 sound like pat 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 pat. But when this backfire doesn't stop there and it starts traveling inside the torch, the pipe, the handle, or maybe further back, then it is known as flashback. That is a major difference between these two terms, that is backfire and flashback. To save our system and our people from the destruction of a flashback, the recommended right device is a flashback arrestor. Many times our people use NRV, which is a non-return valve, but that is actually not sufficient to stop a flashback from traveling backwards. So the right equipment or the right device for that is a flashback arrestor. What is there inside a flashback arrestor you can see on the screen. I'll not go further into the details, but mainly it has got two flame arresting elements. One is the flame arrestor and second is the thermal sensitive cutoff valve. Where to fix a flashback arrestor? So ideally there are three possibilities: one at the torch end, one at the regulator end, and one in the middle of a hose. But in India, as of now, we are mainly following the practice of two ends, means one flashback arrestor at torch end for oxygen, one for fuel gas. Similarly, one flashback arrestor on the regulator side for oxygen and one for fuel gas. Flashback arrestors, there are different sizes and models depending on the flow rates requirements and the application requirements. So one flashback arrestor will not suffice all the applications. We need to choose the right flashback arrestor for the right application. Gas regulator, another important part of a gas oxy-fuel gas system, because it actually regulates the high pressure of the cylinder and transfers only the working pressure to the cutting torch through the hose pipe. So the regulators have to be selected rightly, considering the right pressure requirements, the flow requirements, and the right gas. One regulator of one gas should not be used on the other gas. The respective regulator for that particular gas should only be used. In LPG, you might have come across something like what you can see on the right side of your screen, a so-called adapter being used there and the gas being taken out, which is not the right practice. In fact, in case we wish to use LPG, here I'm referring to only the commercial LPG. The domestic LPG, the red cylinder which comes in our houses, is not to be used for commercial purposes. For commercial applications, there are commercial cylinders, and there are regulators and flashback arrestors which you can see on the left side of your screen. So this is the right fitting while you use LPG for your oxy-fuel applications. Hoses, another important part. We use a long hose in a gas cutting set. It may vary from anything like 3-4 meters to 50-60 meters, or sometimes in bigger plants we have seen even 80-90-100 meters hose for each gas. But in case the hose condition is not good, like what you can see on the screen, the cracks are there are improper joints. So these type of hoses should be immediately discarded and the right hoses should be fitted, because the hoses can create a situation which can lead to one or the other accident. The current hose practice or the fitting practice for hoses is on the left side, wherein we use nut and nipple. And you can see the outcome of that particular practice in the middle of your screen, that you get impression of clamps, and then after some time the hoses become weak in this area. So the best practice is to go for pre-crimped hoses, which you can see on the right side of your screen. Gas manifold or a central gas supply system is another way of reducing hazards on our work locations. because in this case, we remove all the cylinders from inside the workshop and place the cylinders outside the workshop in the form of a bank, and the gases are supplied to the work area through pipelines. So you can see the comparison. On the left side is a work area where there are cylinders everywhere. On the right side, no cylinder, the gases are coming through pipes, and cylinders are outside. So this work area becomes safer, as well as more spaces available for working. Coming on to the welding hazards, the first and the foremost is electrical hazard. So for this, it is always recommended to use the right kind of welding holders and earth clamps. Maybe the best one is fully insulated one. And safety compliances like CE and all. The right kind of cables with proper insulation. The HOFR insulation is the best insulation for welding cables. And the cable selection should be done depending on the current requirement as per the standard, which you can see on the screen. Many times we need to do the extension of cables, or the cables are connected to the welding machine through a coupling. So there we have to use, or we must use, the cable connectors or the right cable couplings, so that there are no exposed metal parts causing electrical shock hazard to the operators. For eye protection, it is better to use the safety goggles for cutting, the safety screen or the welding helmets while welding, and the welding curtains for the eye safety of eyes of the co-workers. For personal safety, right kind of personal protective equipments like hand gloves, the apron, the sleeve, the foot guard, the shoulder guard must be used to have the maximum safety of the operator. This picture denotes the right practice on the right, and on the left is not the right way of doing the welding applications. For respiratory safety, we can use the welding booths or the fume extraction systems to take care of the fumes are being taken out through the draft system. These are not inhaled much by the operators. So in nutshell, Messer has got big offerings on safety. Other than products, we provide safety trainings. We provide safety on gas equipment, safety assessment, and the safety posters and various other things. So we have so much to share with you, but in the given slot, we could share very less. So request you to kindly connect with us through LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and you can get the latest updates and get connected with us. Thank you very much for your patient hearing. Over to you, Mr. Roy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Arun, for such effective, though I wish I could give more time to you, and definitely will look forward to giving you more time during the next presentations, of course. That's my commitment.
So thank you.
I know Messer is having a whole lot of solutions for safety aspect. So, and thanks for sharing your inputs on advanced safety, especially when it comes to axial cutting. That's very core area in industrial facilities. So delegates, if you have any question for Mr. Arun, please submit it in the Q&A box in your Zoom control panel. And at the same time, let us congratulate Mr. Arun and Team Messer in India as well as across the world for celebrating their 125 years of journey. We acknowledge your contribution to the industries worldwide, Mr. Arun. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So delegates, as pointed out by our esteemed panelists, I would request all the panelists to keep their videos on. And if Mr. Arun can stop his screen sharing, that will be great.
Just a minute, I'm just done now. Thank you. I was a bit struggling to find from where to stop the sharing. Sorry for that. Not so good in IT. Maybe a little bit training from Mr. Ranjit.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, sir. So, delegates, as pointed out by our esteemed panelists today, manufacturing safety is critical for protecting men and materials, complying with legal requirements, reducing cost, improving productivity, and enhancing a company's reputation, as pointed out by Mr. Ranjit. So by prioritizing safety, companies can create a better work environment for their employees and improve their bottom line, as mentioned by Mr. Sanjay, Mr. Muthusekar sir, as well as Mr. Arun. So now we are going to discuss about the best practices to make a safe manufacturing ecosystem. We have already discussed on the technologies and why we need to make a safe working environment. We already discussed on those. So if you can start with to understand that what are the best practices, some of the best practices. To start with, Mr. Muthusekar sir, can you help us to understand some of the best practices to make a safe manufacturing ecosystem?
Yeah, Roy, at Hailstone, what we do is we digitalize all the documents. So if the digitalization of documents is available for the production person, for the entire manufacturing staff, including the loading and unloading, also how to do the unloading, how to do the loading. So everything is digitalized and everything is standardized, and the document is given to the entire team. So once it is very clear to the team, there is no mistakes happen. Number one. Number two is our products goes into crushing and screening and washing solutions, going to various customers, operated by unskilled workers and in rural areas. So that's where a lot of training needs to be done. We do a lot of operator trainings, in-plant training. We go to the customer place and we do training. So the customer success not just happens only with the product and its productivity, but also the safety and the safety adherence by their employees, which helps them to increase the productivity. So these are the best practices done at Hailstone in terms of both internally at our plant, also externally wherever we supply the equipments.
Right. Sanjay Singh, so you also cater to the almost same business areas what Mr. Muthusekar was talking about. So can you let us know more about the best practices you follow as well as other manufacturing facilities would follow?
Yeah. Mr. Muthu has rightly said and elaborated all the aspect of the manufacturing industry and also at the project site. We as a company, fortunately, with God's grace, in recent few years, we didn't have any reportable incidents of accident. So what exactly we are doing, we are analyzing near miss incidents very, very minutely. Near miss incidents, we are analyzing the way that something has happened. It's not might have happened. It has happened, and whatever the corrective measures or admonishment or corrections in the procedures, manpower, their training, their attitude, but we analyze in a very, very critical manner, and we take a corrective action without any delay. Second thing, my guidelines to my people are there. Whenever you take a report from either from the manufacturing sector or from the project side, your first priority question should be safety related. Not how many have been produced or what is the completion target and all those things. What are the safety aspects are there? What are the things you are following? Anything has gone wrong? What do you visualize? Anything that is looking risky? And then after you ask for the daily production numbers and all those things. So this has to be prioritized. And as I told in my opening remarks, this has to be a way of life, and we have to educate the people. I feel, we as an Indian, we tend to take safety not very seriously, especially in the southern India. I see people are more safety conscious as compared to the North India, and as an Indian as a whole, we are less, whether it is the road safety or signal, following the signal, etc., etc. We tend to take a chance, but the chance may be the last chance. One should understand. Thank you.
Very critical observation you made. I'll come back to you after once all the panelists are done with their opening comments on best practices. So, Mr. Ranjit, can you tell us about the best practices?
So what we generally ask our customer or emphasize our customer is understand your machine. Understand your machine. They should go for a assessment of a machine. They should know what kind of machine they have, what are the hidden hazards, what are the gray hazards. They should know everything about their machine. Once they are aware, they will be doing a proper engineering practices to reduce those kind of hazards. So generally people think how to do this, but if you see with experts or people, there are a lot of tools available nowadays. Now what people are not using the available tools. They should use those tools and they should understand what kind of safety my machine is having, whether I need to scrap the machine or I need to upgrade the thing. They are not aware. So giving a training, understanding their machine, going for an assessment to know what kind of machines they have, and very important thing, upgradation of a old legacy machine and concepts. Because generally a lot of people do bypassing the safety. What they say generally, okay, if we operate those components regularly, there is a chance that component can get failed. So this kind of environment, if you see a lot of end users they are facing. So upgradation from an old legacy machine, and the operator who works on the machine should be aware what kind of machine he is interacting, whether it is a machine or a devil or a robo, whatever it is, he should be aware properly. And as Muthu sir said, proper digitalization of a document. Whatever you do, training, blah, 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 things people used to get forget. And there is a chance it may get fade away. You should document the things digitally. For an example, lotto. Generally, people just use a lotto as a just for a name sake. But how it has to be? It has to be a digital lotto things. So once it is digital, people find it is very easy to track down the data. If they want to track down what happened to my machine before 3 years, 4 years, they will be easy to get. So these are the things. Once people used to start implementing those things, then people will get more familiar and they will see a better environment. That's all from our side.
Right. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Arun, your comments on the best practices.
Yeah. Most of the things have been said by my friends. And we also follow the same thing, like sharing the knowledge, because whatever equipments the people are using or the operators are using, first and foremost is they should know the equipment. Like when we talk of oxy-fuels, so they should know about the behavior of gases, how they are going to, what they are going to do in the event of something going wrong. So sharing knowledge, that is our first aim, and we have been constantly doing the programs on safety, safe practices across the industry. In fact, last 2 days I was traveling in Rajasthan and I conducted 3 programs for different industries. This is one part. And one more thing is not only the theoretical knowledge or theoretical training. In fact, when the training is connected with the practical part, so when you see certain things from your eyes, so maybe the registration, I mean, in our opinion, the registration is longer and better. So our practice is that giving the knowledge, the training, and through the practical means for a longer registration with the operators.
Right. So, Mr. Arun, today, like you said that you have given 3 sessions of safety lecture during the past couple of days. Then there are lots of activities happening. There are lots of technologies available. Mr. Muthu Sekhar as well as Mr. Sanjay was talking about the digitalization of the safety practices related document. So do you see a kind of behavioral changes within the manufacturing ecosystem?
Yes, of course. I mean, on safety, when I look back, I've spent almost 32 years in industry now. And especially when I got connected with safety, it was almost 20 years now. So with each passing day, I find that the awareness about the safety is increasing and people are following safety. I mean, if I talk of, say myself itself, I go back 25 years back. If I'll ride a scooter or maybe I'll drive a car, maybe I'll not wear the seat belt till the time I am on highway. But today it's a practice. So the sensitization on the safety has become so important that, again, I'll say, we need to keep on talking on safety till the time it becomes a part of our life.
Right. Sanjay Sir, you made a very interesting observation during your opening remarks that there should not be any cap, or there should be no cap on safety budget. Is it possible? Is it possible for the corporates or the manufacturers?
It's possible. We are doing. It's possible.
Right.
It's not asking for millions and billions. It is a concept. You have chosen something around 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs or 1 crore, 10 crore, 500 crore, whatever your budgets are there. See, it's going, if at all it is going above the budget, then you cannot cut it down. You cannot cut short to the lifeline. If you are saving few lakhs of rupees, jeopardizing somebody's life, you cannot justify it. Later you analyze what has gone wrong, how to cut it down, how to take care of your equipments and safety gears and all those things, how it should be restored. People should be trained. There should be proper way to keep those things identified. All those things later you do. But today, if some reports are coming, this sling is damaged, and then you telling HR person is telling, no, budget is lapsed, we will see tomorrow or next year budget I will keep. That is not the thing.
Right. Muthusekhar sir, do you also have the same kind of opinion on the cap?
See, first of all, safety, it's like a preventive insurance what you are taking. It's not expensive. When you have to address an emergency, it's very, very expensive. So, like an insurance, you are only paying a small premium. So, whatever safety practices or the budgets required for safety is not prohibited. Like what Sanjay said is the right that management doesn't look, in a big way when it comes to the safety aspects, and they don't cut any corners. Don't do it now, do it later. I think no management will tell that, in my opinion. And second, the very basic reason is it's not prohibitively expensive. Then why you have to cut it?
Right. That sounds good, sir. If everyone starts practicing that, definitely we are going to get a kind of safe working environment, at least for the employees as well as for the entire ecosystem. So I'll come back to the questions. There are a few questions which are already answered by our panelists. There is Tokir Sheikh asking that is the system a free software or we have to purchase from Semercell? Ranjit?
Yeah, it is a free software, but you should know how to operate the software. There is a proper training you should undergo to do it. The software is available for free, but report generation, without knowing the proper procedural things of the software, you cannot generate the report. You should go for a training, then you can go into the software and simulate the things.
My question to all of these panelists today, especially the solutions providers. So we are talking about legacy machines, there are legacy facilities as well. So how do you see the scenario is changing? Are the legacy factories, they adopting the advanced safe technologies? Arun? Can you unmute yourself? Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the consciousness to safety is, of course, increasing. And now even every industry is looking forward to having better safety measures in their industry. So definitely there is a much changed approach in each and every industry towards the safety. Fully agree with that.
So Ranjit, what will it take to for legacy companies to go to the next level of safety from the existing ones, where you have, like when you are talking about the smart factories or Industry 4.0?
They should know, first of all, before going to any process, they should know what their machine is doing. Similarly, the futuristic machine or a competitor's machine or a live machine, what that machine is doing, they should, first of all, they should understand the gap between their legacy machine and the futuristic machine. If they are able to plan out the gap, then upgrading from legacy machine to a futuristic machine or a newer technology machine is easy. If they simply think, okay, I am using an old legacy machine, if I want to upgrade, then there is no answer. They should know their expectation and what are the deliverables from the futuristic machine. If they know those things in a clear way, then upgrading is not a big challenge or a task to anyone.
So, do you conduct a kind of a study to give them or advise them for a particular safety solution?
Yes. We used to conduct a training related to the safety standards and what kind of a safety components they have to suggest or they have to use to their machine. So we conduct several trainings. Then how to size a product depends upon the safety distance calculation, stop time measurement. So a lot of tools and trainings are available. Those things will help a customer to understand the things in a better way.
Right. Even for Arun also, you study or then you suggest oxyfuel solutions or?
In fact, Aman, in our case, what I say that the process is more or less known to the people. They are using this process for years together, but could not understand most of the times the safety hazards linked with the process. So what we are trying to do is make them aware of those hazards so that the mitigation of those hazards could be done well in time.
Right. So Sanjay Singh, so there are technologies available, there are solutions available today. There are awareness of also. So how at CD, what sort of strategies you have to implement safety policies or strategize safety within the working environment?
We have got the safety policy and we have got the external auditors. So far as digitalization is there, that is not in shape as of now. But we are very religiously doing get it audited through an external agency. Then we have got everyday safety meeting, and that is being recorded. And then we are religiously marking the number of accident-free days, which has crossed 2,000 plus numbers. So these are the things. Digitalization, we are a little bit away as of now.
Right, sir. So Muthusekhar sir, can you switch on your video again? So
Yeah.
as far as your Hailstone is concerned, how important is the safety related issues?
If you ask me in percentage, I say 100%.
Right.
The reason being, I tell you, one point I want to add in the discussion is the incident reporting is the key for the cultural change. Many of the organizations, the incident is not reported to the top and escalation doesn't happen.
Right.
Even if there is a minor incident or a minor accident. But in Hailstone, we have a culture that even the smallest thing which happens on the shop floor, right from the managing director and I being the chief operating officer, we know what's happening on the plant. And second, what Messer Arun told is right. Messer has supplied a machine for us. It's operating in Thrissur, and which is about 100 kilometers away from our headquarters, where we sit in Palakkad. We are able to monitor the machine which is operating in Thrissur. To the fullest extent, the features are available. Today, the digital world and the systems are so transparent, and it can give all kind of data at your fingertips wherever you are.
Right. So there you go. So digitalization is playing its role in terms of enhancing safety practices.
I have even heard there is a digital PPE kit. The digital PPE kit will even alarm when you go near the machine. When the temperature is getting high, it alarms. So, of course, I have not seen, but I have read articles that there are a digital PPE kit available. Probably we came to know PPE kit only during the COVID days.
Right.
Until then, we were not knowing the PPE kit.
Right. So even though it's not that relevant, then also I would like to share one today's development that BMC, this our municipal corporation in Mumbai, they are actually, some of the important manuals they are making it digitalized. So and anti-tamper proof. So if anyone does any kind of mischiefs with those manuals, headquarters will get a kind of signal. So that's the blessing with digitalization. So. And so I'll come back with the questions of Mr. Muhammad Iqbal Ansari. He's asking that you are talking about the quality regulators that should not be used. I think that question was directed to Mr. Arun. So, but still being produced by many local industries. Can you answer that question?
I couldn't get the question. Can you please? Give me the
So
question.
he's asking that you were talking about the low quality of regulators for, I think, with used with gases. So that you were talking about the should not be produced or used, but there are low quality regulators available in the market and being produced in India, and why it is being done and what we should do rather.
Okay. In fact, for that, there are two things which we need to take care. One is the right regulator for the right gas. I mean, for example, say you are using oxygen gas. So the oxygen regulator should only be used. We should not use a nitrogen regulator or an argon regulator. That is one part. Second, when we talk of the quality of the regulator, so definitely the standards, the code, I mean, if you talk of a regulator, so EN ISO 2503 is an internationally acceptable standard. So we should see that the regulator is adhering to the right kind of standards to ensure the right quality of the regulator.
Right. I think there is one more question from him related to you only. Can we predict the backfire earlier while using cutting torch? So
this is really very difficult to predict the backfire, because backfire is actually we call it as an accident. An accident is something which is not predictable. So the only thing what we can do is ensure the right procedure while working, ensure the right equipment, and ensure the right knowledge to the operators.
right. So there are a couple of questions which are already answered, but definitely I would like to take it for all the audiences because they may not be knowing the answers of those. Does Simmersal have any Industry 4.0 products? If so, we can have a time frame for that. So if you can just talk briefly about that.
Actually, Industry 4.0 is not a product. It's a concept and solution. So we do have solutions for the safety requirements.
Ranjit, you are talking about our journey from Industry 4.0 to from conventional manufacturing or legacy manufacturing to Industry 4.0 area. And there, I think Simmersal and all other manufacturers, they talk about the safety 4.0 that will go together with Industry 4.0.
Yes, yes.
And there, this entire spectrum is going to be driven by the data. So I think, again, the safety of data will also be a core component within this manufacturing safety, what we are discussing today about. I think all of you will be agree with that.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Right, sir. So there is not much of questions. Let me see if there are any more questions. Right. So nothing in the panelists. Okay. So it's 56. So thank you, panelists, for taking up those questions. So before summing it up, can I ask all the panelists to share your concluding remarks on today's topic of the discussion, around 30 seconds or so, on manufacturing safety, protecting workers, and boosting productivity. I just need your concluding remarks of around 30 seconds or so. To start with, Mr. Sanjay.
I can only say you have taken a very good initiative, because education, learning, reminders are very, very necessary in the field of safety. Fortunately, safety consciousness and Swachh Bharat consciousness both are picking up, but unfortunately, we have miles to go.
Thank you, sir. Muthu, sir. Muthu, sir, your concluding remarks on this. Right.
Safety is essential to business and it is fundamental. So, you cannot have anything else to discuss how much required, less required, more required. I think it's basics. So the basics cannot be changed.
Right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Arun.
Yeah, I will repeat the same line which came in my presentation, that safety is not an expense. It is an investment for a better tomorrow. Be the investment of time, investment of money, investment of efforts, technology, whatever. But right. It is an investment.
And Mr. Ranjit, your finishing stroke.
So last I can say 1.5 hours. I can closely I can say 70-75 people. So we exchange a lot of idea. So coming to the point, what people think about safety. If you see few years back, safety was not necessary. Then there was a stage, it was optional. Now it is a stage, it is mandatory. If you see from now on, safety is going to further grow. So it is necessary. Earlier, people used to say 3 things are necessary for life: air, food, cloth. You need to add safety into your life. That's it.
So thank you once again, Mr. Muthu Sekar, Mr. Sanjay Singh, Mr. Arun Jain, and Mr. Ranjit Kumar for your time and participation. It was my pleasure having you here today. So that concludes today's session. We expect that each and every manufacturing facility across the world will be safe by inculcating a rich safety culture. So thank you, delegates, for attending. And we hope you have enjoyed this episode of Mojo for Industry Development Debate on manufacturing safety, protecting workers, and boosting productivity. We thank technology partner Shimasel India and knowledge partner Mesa Cutting Systems India. One more announcement, as usual, we will premiere an edited video of the entire session on our YouTube channel Mojo for Industry Media on 28th of June at 3 p.m. So please subscribe to the channel and you'll soon get the notification. So this concludes the session. Thank you for participating in today's development debate. We hope to see you again next time. Till then, take care and stay safe. Thank you so much, Mr. Arun. Thank you so much, Mr. Ranjit. Thank you so much, Sanjay Singh, sir. Thank you so much, Muthu sir. As usual. See you again very soon.
Thank you, everybody. See you
Thanks,
again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for your time, sir. Thank you.